So season 2 of Megalobox, Nomad, just finished today, Sunday. It is 2:47 a.m. and I'm left here with a lot on my mind. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of the more interesting season 2s of a series. It's a season 2 that wasn't necessarily needed, but was very well crafted and very well directed. It ended today, and I kind of wanted just to talk about this thing. This is going to be spoiler filled, so if you have not seen this show, maybe tune out, or if you don't care, keep watching. The finale, obviously, that's what's fresh in my head. We're going to talk about the series as a whole, but the finale is fresh in my head right now, and I kind of wanted to speak about it for a little bit. Left me wanting a little bit more. I think there was a very key moment that sort of took a lot out of the episode, in my opinion, and that was the throw in the towel moment. Didn't like it. I don't hate the idea of Joe, forfeiting the fight. I don't hate that idea. I think that's an interesting direction. I would have kept him fighting. I would have, shown off the entire fight. I would have had a real winner or a real loser. I thought that Joe was going to lose the fight. I thought that was going to happen. That was sort of in my head, as I was watching it. The throw in the towel moment felt very... I liked the direction. I liked what they were trying to do. I liked the Nambu thing, his hand on the mat and everything. That was cool, but it felt very rushed, and it kind of just came out of nowhere. I wish this was something that was contemplated a little bit more. I wish this was, talked about a little bit more within the characters. I wish it didn't just happen sort of out of the blue. Oh, here's the towel. There we go. Fight's over. End of the show. Let's go. Like, that felt a little... I don't know. I didn't love that. I think that Megalobox Season 1 had a better climax. I don't think its final episode was better, but the fight between Joe and Yuri, the whole entire series was sort of leading up to that moment. You knew that they were going to fight. You knew that was going to be the final battle pretty early on in the show. And I don't know if they 100% delivered on the hype and sort of the anticipation of that clash, but it felt important. And that's not to say that the hero versus the legend, Rosario versus Joe, I don't think that was a bad matchup. I don't think that was a bad fight. I was actually shocked how much I enjoyed Rosario as a character. I think that there was a lot there, and the sort of juxtaposition between him and Joe was probably the most interesting part of the entire series, if I'm being real with you. Another super interesting part is the whole BES, Shirato, Roscoe, that whole thing. That plot line. I think that I honestly got a better ending than the actual, character of Joe, than the actual fight itself. I think Joe's story was over around episode 10. I think that his story was kind of done there. When he started rebuilding Team Nowhere, and when he started, hammering in tax and really trying to be a better man, and realizing what his destiny is, realizing what he's supposed to do for himself, not for others around him. When he made that realization, his journey was basically over. And then it was sort of all about Rosario's journey. It was about what he was going through, and sort of, I don't know, I feel like that there's a better way that the series could have been directed. I like the content, I like the scenario here, but the sort of key moments and how it's all put together, I felt like could have been a little more well done. I feel like they could have, had a little more of that juxtaposition, really kind of hammer that in. There are points of this series that definitely feel a little bit preachy, a little, they're hammering in a lot of sort of ideologies, a lot of sort of spiritual stuff. I wouldn't necessarily say spiritual, but definitely there's a lot of ephemeral things kind of happening within the series, through people's thought processes, through people's ways of life and how they're living. It's a very, very heavy and dense series, and I think that there is a lot of things that happen here in this series that kind of leave a lot of stuff up to interpretation. I don't 100% know what Joe is thinking by the end of this series. I don't 100% know what Rosario is. I think Rosario, his storyline was sort of, fleshed out. I think they did that intentionally. I think there are parts of the series that are left unsaid, and I don't think that's an issue per se, but I think that more, at least a little bit more, should have been said. The ending, like I mentioned, left me wanting just a little bit more in terms of overall content, in terms of a little bit bigger of a fight. It's not the idea of the towel being thrown in that I hate, it's how it was directed. It felt like I missed an episode, honestly. It felt like there should be one more episode coming up that fully wraps everything around and fully, this is what Joe's doing now. But it kind of doesn't. And neither did the first season, to be honest with you. The first season kind of did the very similar type of ending where it was like, oh, that's it. Okay. Cool. Joe's dancing. Sweet. I kind of wish we got a callback to that. I wanted to see Joe dancing or something. I wanted to see that moment. I don't know. I don't think it's important, but I think it would have been a cool callback. This feels like the end. I don't think we're going to get a season 3. I think they kind of teased some Lou stuff. I think Lou could definitely, hey, he's trying to get back in the ring. He's trying to get rehabilitated, and, he's practicing. Maybe they tie Joe into that some way. I don't think the show can exist without Joe, and Joe's story definitely feels over unless he wants to be like a trainer. He said he's done. That was his last fight for sure. But I kind of like the idea of maybe Lou and Yuri, teaming up and helping Lou, regain his confidence and get back into the ring. His confidence is fine. Just his physical ability. I think that could be an interesting plot point. But a season 3 or not, I definitely think season 2 was well done. I had my qualms with the ending, but there are so many aspects of this series that just no other anime is doing. And I think it's all about the drama. I think it's all about the character drama, the inner turmoil stuff. The beginning, the first half of the series, or the first 4 or 5 episodes, I've never felt that way watching an anime before. Seeing a character struggle with drug addiction, seeing a character struggle with his past, and he's got a beard, he's doing these underground fights. It was super, super depressing and honestly hard to watch. So what happened, Joe? And it definitely kind of opened up this can of worms that was you're constantly waiting for that reveal. What's gonna happen? What did Joe do? Why do all these characters hate him so much? Why can't he go back home? What's going on? And then there's a lot of the hummingbird stuff too, and they really, really nailed that in towards the end of the series. The whole little hummingbird storybook thing, I thought was expertly crafted, and just the music, one of the best soundtracks I've heard this year. Period. Movie, film, game, whatever. It's incredible. I think it's Nabua, I believe, or Mabu. I think it's Mabua. Just absolutely fantastic all the way through. Every single track. There are tracks on that I will remember for the rest of my life. And I think it's on Spotify now, so that's really cool. I can listen to this thing. All in all, this series, Megalobox, Nomad, it preached, it sort of conquered its bigger hype moments. I think that it definitely delivered on those fronts. The whole Mac time thing I thought was a very interesting plot point. The BES stuff, as I mentioned, was really, really cool. I think it's a series that just has an incredibly strong identity. I don't know the name of the person that wrote this story. I don't know, I should. I know I should. I will do my research. But I can tell whoever they are, they're passionate about this story. They're passionate about these characters. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have done a season 2. I think that there is a lot of passion within sort of the halls, the inner workings of the series, because this feels like a fully realized world, more so than most anime that I watch, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I understand the sort of dichotomy here. I understand how this world kind of works, the floods and everything, and how they allude to things and why things are sort of post-apocalyptic, why there's, this weird immigration thing happening, which was out of nowhere. It felt honestly a little forced, and then I started understanding we are in a post-apocalyptic. We don't know what's happened to the other equator. We don't know what's going on. And I love how it doesn't, just force that stuff on you. This is a dystopian world. It doesn't do that. It's kind of, it leaves stuff up to interpretation. And I think that's what a good writer does. I think that's important, because that's not important to the story. Is America a country in this series? I don't know. I really don't. It doesn't matter though, because that's not a part of the story. But they allude to the world is, it's in a weird place right now. There's these crazy storms, typhoons, and things like that. I mean, that's kind of happening in the world right now, but we're definitely well off into the future where that's, affecting communities in a very different way. And I loved the sort of, Oh my goodness. Like the music, again, I could keep preaching and going on and on about it, but just a lot of the themes and a lot of the, it's just so interesting to me. A lot of the like the Mexican culture stuff that they were doing, again, felt out of nowhere. Like I wasn't expecting season 2 to do this. Incredible. And that's a theme throughout, not just, you know, the beginning half of the series, not just with that boxer, not just with the hummingbird, but throughout the entire series. You know, you have the interstitials and things like that paint that picture. And I think it was just a brilliant idea. I really do. I think this entire series as a whole is just a brilliant idea. There are things that weren't perfect, i.e. the ending. There were episodes that, you know, may or may not have worked. But I think in the long run, there's something important about Megalobox. I feel bad that this series is not popular, that no one is really watching the series. I know this series has a ton of fans and things like that, but it's pretty small. It is definitely pretty small. Like there are manga that are trending bigger than this anime series right now. The final episode was today, and no one I knew is really watching it, aside from me and my brother and a couple people in my chat on my stream. No one's like super, you know, it's not trending on Twitter. It's not making huge numbers. Maybe when Adult Swim picks it up, maybe that'll happen. And, you know, maybe it'll pick up some more steam. Maybe an English dub would help. But as far as I know, like the series is not like, you know, making any huge numbers or anything like that. I think its distribution is kind of weird too, because the first season was on Crunchyroll. This season is not. That's kind of what's going on there. I was watching it on Hulu. I don't even know like who has the rights, the streaming rights of this series. I don't know where this is streaming, to be honest. Like, is this a Hulu original? Like, I don't really know. All in all, a series I would definitely not call a masterpiece, but I would call the identity masterful. I think it exudes something that I just don't get from other anime series, and that is a fully realized world, a believable world as well. It doesn't feel like there's some high concept stuff for sure, you know, with the BES stuff, but that's like stuff that I can buy. There is this sort of cyberpunk aspect to it, but it doesn't feel contrived in any way. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is the future, you know, this is, you know, 2099 bullshit. Like, it definitely feels like, so like 2077, we're not getting, you know, crazy awesome prosthetics. This is a future that I can see happening in our reality, to be honest with you. A super commercialized, super, you know, like tech-driven kind of world. It's a future where boxing can exist as a sport that's taken seriously, and, you know, hopefully we go in that direction. I am a boxing fan. I do want to see boxing continue to be a popular sport that's not just run by content creators, but I think that's the most unbelievable part about the series, is that boxing is still taken seriously. But all in all, I really enjoyed the series and the world that it's created. I don't think it's perfect. I definitely think it's flawed. I definitely has its issues, including the ending, but my phone is going off. I do believe that it does amount to something important, and I do believe that it is absolutely worth watching. Have you seen the ending? Have you watched this entire show? How do you compare it to the first season? Did you like it more? I think I did enjoy it more, to be honest. I think that its story felt a little more focused. I think it definitely kind of told a story a little more, you know, kind of out there, but it definitely kind of reined it in towards the end, especially the last 3 or 4 episodes. But let me know what you think in the comments below. How did you feel about Megalobox Nomad? If you enjoyed this sort of weird talk thing, let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you want to see more of my ugly mug, then maybe follow me on Twitch. We stream weekly. I stream at least 3 times a week. I try to at least, and we do a lot of really cool stuff there. We're playing games. We're having a good time, and expect more videos like this, random discussions, anime, video games, all that jazz. Until next time, take care, have a good one, and as always, party on.